Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad bin Zulkipli and I am under supervision Associate Prof Mazlina binti Mansor and Assistant Prof Jasasikin bin Abdul Sani. So today I'm going to present about my final year project. So the topic is Kota Baru Riverfront Redevelopment of Historic Commercial Center at Tambatan Diraja Tourism Complex. So basically my site is at Tambatan Diraja in Kota Baru, Kelantan. So some history of my site is it is formerly was known as the Kota Baru Custom Jetty, which served as a port, and ships are the main transportation and trade occurs rapidly using waterways only. In 6,000 types of ships including boats and rafts were licensed by Sultanate of Kelantan to operate along the Kelantan River. However, the natural disaster drowned the original position of the Tambatan Diraja or the jetty, and the royal mooring of the jetty was rebuilt so that the history of Kelantan is always embedded in the soul of the people. So according to the chronology of Tambatan Diraja, so basically the Tambatan Diraja actually suffered severe damage as a result by Japanese bomb attack in 1970. So in 2012, the Kota Baru port was excavated and the new mooring was named as Tambatan Diraja. So I have detected three main issues at the site. The first one is loss of place character, which is the activity around the area is changing due to new development. And then the second one is lack of people's attraction because of its improper facilities for the user to visit the site. And then the unpleasant urban environment, mostly because of the noise pollution created by the vehicle. Next, the aim for my project is to promote Tambatan Diraja as a tourism place in Kota Baru through historical value. To achieve the aims, the objective is to revitalize the heritage value of Tambatan Diraja. Next, to enhance the public area with better landscape design at Tambatan Diraja Tourism Complex. And lastly, to create a sustainable environment by integrate the cultural design with natural elements. So for the literature review, I'm focusing on three aspects. The first one is the riverfront development in Malaysia. Next is the historic riverfront preservation, basically in Malaysia, and also the urban riverfront. So for precedent studies, I'm referring from three precedent studies. The first one is Kuching Riverfront in Sarawak, and then the second one is the Boat Quay in Singapore. Next, the South Bank, the Thames in London. Next, for the SIA or the site inventory analysis and synthesis, I'm focusing on five aspects. The first one is land uses and site context. Next, the social culture and economy. The third one is urbanscapes and visual study. Next, the circulation and accessibility. And then for the natural aspects, the vegetation, hydrology and microclimate. So basically from the inventory, I have made a cross analysis and it's come out for the site synthesis that I divided into two, which is the site synthesis for the macro development and micro development. So for the macro development, is the first one is implementing the historical design character, referring to the historic value of the sites. The second one is improving the commercial system in the area to attract more sellers in the area. And then lastly, to promote Tambatan Diraja site as one of the tourism spot for historic value and engage with the commercial activities. For micro development, I have located some design or some elements or some activities in the space of the area. So some of it is the patio umbrella table at waterfront dining area to encourage visitors engage with the area. The next one is to maintain and preserve the current Tambatan Diraja figure to respect the historic value. The third one is to propose and provide a water-based recreational activities. The next one is introduce floating market to rejuvenate the former commercial activities. The fifth one is to provide proper design to create sense of belonging to the local communities, and then using Kelantan traditional games such as gasing to attract outsiders, and then lastly enhance the street planting to be more function to the site. The next stage is the design concept stage. So my design concept for this project is Pengkalan Baru. Pengkalan means port or jetty, which is the site for space, and then Baru means new, and Pengkalan Baru means the new port, means referring to the new picture of the surrounding site, but still maintaining the former local social economy. So vernacular landscape is architecture design concerned with domestic and functional rather than public or monumental building. It is an urban waterfront that blends the historical and cultural setting with the provision of facilities and activities for tourists and the community. My design strategies is, I have 4 design strategies. The first one is creating the sense of place, promoting commercial activities, recreational spot, and also inclusive the user-friendly design. The design ideas for the project, there are a well-proposed area for the commercial activities and a vernacular dining area at the waterfront. Next, propose the significant sculpture that can represent the value the Pengkalan Baru, such as Wow Bulan or using the ship, and then propose the water-based recreation at Kelantan River. The next one is floating market for fresh fruits. Next one is pedestrian promenades along the Kelantan River, and lastly rooftop dining area using partial umbrella. Next, for functional diagram, I have 3 functional diagrams. The first one is focusing on the zoning, the next one is facilities, and then the circulation. So from the 3 functional diagram, I have come with 2 design alternatives. So basically the difference between these 2 alternatives is the space. Next one, my schematic plan. So if you can see, basically the circulation, the primary road and the secondary road. So basically I'm preserving the current flow of the circulation. So the space already locate and confirm. So there are the fishing deck. It is proposed for fishing area for local people, and then the Tambatan Diraja itself, which I preserve the current figure, and then the proposed floating market. It is a floating commercial area for fresh foods on Kelantan River, just beside the Kelantan Watchtower. And then the Royal Harbour. Royal Harbour is actually the water-based recreation spot. And then the pedestrian promenades. It is a waterfront walkway along the Kelantan River, and then there is a night market spot, and then the last one is Anjong Lapang. Next, so planting concept. The planting concept is focusing on several strategies to address the issue and the main project aim. So there are 2 strategies. The first one is using planting as a natural solution for site issues, such as issues on natural and man-made issues. The next one is focus on lush plantings for street planting for shade, buffer, and formality. So some plant that I use is Samania Saman and Pterocarpus indicus for street planting to welcoming, Musia Araca Ketechu and Plumeria obtusa. Next one is shades planting using Mimisops elingi and Syzygium multifolium. And then the aesthetic planting, I'm using the Bucida molinati and Plumeria rubra. And then the last one is buffer planting. Some of it is Cordyline fruticosa and Muraya paniculata. Next, this is my master plan. So for the master plan, the space are already confirmed. So the fishing deck for fishing purpose for the local community is proposed in front of the Kelantan Royal Custom Department, and then the Pasar Terapung in front of the Tambatan Diraja Watchtower, and it is actually at the pavilion or the dataran of Tambatan Diraja. And then Mari Market is actually a dining area at Tambatan Diraja that I proposed. And then there are Royal Harbour for the water-based recreational spot, and then the waterfront pedestrian promenades along the Kelantan River, and the shop houses is actually the existing shop houses. And then the Anjong Lapang. Anjong Lapang is a space, is an open space area at the morning until the evening, but at night it turns into the night market spot. So for the section cut of my master plan, the first one is I'm focusing to show the overall image of the site. They have a recreational area, which is the fishing deck, the heritage area, the commercial area, recreational area, and also commercial area, which is the night market. And then the next section is basically focusing on the pavilion or the dataran Tambatan Diraja, and then there's also a floating market in front of the Tambatan Diraja Watchtower. The next part is detailed development plan. So basically detailed development plan is focusing on the dataran Tambatan Diraja, which is here, the middle part of the site. So for this area, there are 6 main space I want to focus on. The first one is the dataran Tambatan Diraja itself, the middle here, and then the Tambatan Diraja, which is the Tambatan, the royal mooring that I preserve its current image, and then the Tambatan Diraja Watchtower. This is also an existing building that I preserve. The next one is Pasar Terapung. Pasar Terapung is a pasar that I propose for the trade activities that sell fresh foods from the local fishermen. Then there are waterfront promenade. Waterfront promenade is basically for the user to have a scenic view to the river while walking in the area. And the last one is Makan Tepi Sungai area, which is the dining area. It is located beside the waterfront promenade. So basically at the dataran Tambatan Diraja, there are 2 main attractive elements. The first one is the stage. This stage is actually a cultural stage. It is used for local community to promote the traditional games or traditional elements of Kelantan to the outsiders or to the tourists. And then the next one, I have Jong Melayu, or the ship sculpture, which is, I will explain more at the innovative design element. So this is my first section, focusing to show the overall area of the detailed development plan. They have a historic Tambatan Diraja, the Tambatan Diraja Watchtower itself, and then the waterfront promenade. And then for the next section, there are Pasar Terapung that I propose at the site for the fresh foods from the local fishermen. The next one is the section CC, basically focusing on the dining area. So the dining area is actually the Makan Tepi Sungai area that promote eating while viewing the Sungai Kelantan. Next, my perspective. The first perspective, I'm focusing on the entrance of the dataran Tambatan Diraja, and then the next one is the waterfront promenades that actually connect the dining area to the Royal Harbour, which is the Royal Harbour is the water-based recreation spot. And then the Pasar Terapung in Kelantan River, located beside the Tambatan Diraja Watchtower. So basically this is the view of the Pasar Terapung. And then the last one is the entrance to the historic Tambatan Diraja. Next one is for the innovative design element. It is the sculpture of the ship, and its name is Jong Melayu. So basically Jong is a type of ancient sailing ship originating from Java that was widely used by Javanese and Malay sailors. So dijongs are used mainly as seagoing passenger and cargo vessels formerly. So this sculpture, the Jong Melayu, will become one of the attractive element in the area, because in the night it is actually will glow. This is to represent and to remind that the history of this place is still preserved. Jong Melayu also act as one of the historic design elements to bring back the memories of the place. And then there are an innovative digital board on the ship that provides the information of the historic site. Basically, there are also the QR code for the user to scan, so they can read by themselves using their own gadget. Next, for the hardscape plan, so I'm using the structure that represent the former use element at the area, such as the sheep, and mostly I'm using the sheep itself. And then for the furniture, there are a timber table seating that I put it at the dining area, and then the lamppost, and then the flashlight basically I put it in the dataran. Next one is softscape plan. So basically my softscape plan, there are three type of plan: the tree and palms, the shrubs, and the ground covers. So basically the tree have its own function. So for Samania Saman, basically it is used for shades, and Peltophorum pterocarpum and Tabeboia rosea is used for its aesthetic value, and also it is used for shade also. And then Buchidum molinati is used beside the river because it can create a nice scenic view for the users. And then Plumeria I planted in the dataran area because it have some sense of welcoming. And then Rostonia regia, or the royal palm, basically I put it in the middle of the road because it also have the sense of welcoming. And this is all my presentation for the final project. Thank you.